Ladies and gentlemen, Loki here, back at it again with another YouTube video. Zenless Zone 0 version 1.3 has just dropped, bringing us a thrilling new endless in-game mode, and with Yanagi's release, Prydwen has introduced some of the most game-changing updates yet. Let's jump right into the details. First off, I do want to preface this by saying T0.5 does not mean that these characters are weak. These characters are still top tier among the absolute best in the game. Ellen moving down is something I can understand. Freeze is a bit weaker compared to the other elements, other than disabling the enemies, making them not move, or I believe it's like a 10% crit damage boost when the enemy's frozen. Those are the only two things that it really has going for it. So when it comes to Ellen, I can agree with the ranking adjustments, unless in the future we get a Lycan replacement that can boost the stun multiplier to upwards of 300%, then this change makes sense. Juyan, on the other hand, does have a dedicated stunner in Qingyi, which allows her to deal massive damage. Qingyi's stun multiplier can reach 230% or even 280%, depending on whichever boss you're facing. On top of that, you also have Nicole's 40% defensive shred on top of that, on top of her best team, right? Because when you look at this tier list, you take Juyan and you put her in her best possible team. Her best team is very, very good. When you pair Qingyi's stun multiplier with Nicole's 40% defense shred, Juyan can still perform at a level that rivals even the best anomaly teams even in the game, even without her signature weapon. So I don't even have to go over Soldier 11 or anything, because it says here all DPS characters were moved down one rank to reflect the gap in power between direct damage dealers and the ever more powerful anomaly archetype. And then Sokaku moved down one rank. Her position in the meta is no longer as prominent due to a combination of stronger options being released and a shift in team building towards anomaly and double damage. When it comes to double damage, Burnice is clearly the ideal fit for this role. The Disorder playstyle essentially functions as a dual DPS setup where both units need to contribute to the build-up. Also, remember, this isn't a generalized tier list. This is specifically Shiyu defense. I don't know if they're going to end up making maybe a tier list for the endless game mode. I have no idea. As far as we know, the rewards don't reset, so I don't see that happening anytime soon. But yeah, this is focused on Shiyu defense, and Burnice performs reliably even when enemies resist fire. As long as they're vulnerable to physical or electric, now that we have Yanagi, she still will perform in those Disorder team comps. Speaking of Yanagi, I'll need to do more testing with Yanagi to fully access her value, but on paper, her polarity disorder dealing damage equal to 32% of her anomaly proficiency is huge. Yeah, and then she has 10% pen built into her kit as well in the Kogan stance. That's very good. She's undeniably the most intricate character in the game. Once you master the techniques for skipping her basic attacks 1-2 and starting from basic attack 3, everything falls into place. In the ideal setup, when you're uninterrupted by enemy attacks, her combo sequence will look something like this. It'd be basic attack 3-4-5, like you would dodge counter, chain attack, ultimate. Any of these start from basic. It starts from basic attack 3. Let's say the enemy attacked you, you dodge counter, you start 3-4-5, hit your special button, 3-4-5, hit your special button, 3-4-5. That's essentially how you use this character in a perfect world, right? What else can we say about Jane? Jane's insane. If the enemy's weak to physical, she will absolutely demolish them. But now that we have Burnice, if the enemy is resistant to physical but they're weak to fire, then Jane still performs in those teams. So it's just the same thing. It's just vice versa. Moving on to the stunners, Qingyi, incredible. She's the best stunner in the game. I genuinely don't know if Lighter is actually going to take a T0 spot. Like looking at the kit from the live stream, I don't see it happening, because We do know he's a stun extender. They did say that in the live stream, but how much value is that? How much value is a stun extender going to be over just increasing the damn multiplier, which is gonna make your entire team do more damage, right? We'll just have to see when he comes out. I don't look at ZZZ leaks or anything, so I have no idea if any of that's been changed. I'm assuming what we saw in the live stream is what we're gonna get, but if I had to guess, I would say T0, because if I said 0.5, that would put him next to Lycan. and from what I've seen, he's definitely better than Lycan, but I don't know if he's on the same level as Xingyi. There's no one else to really talk about down here. I could see Rena moving up. I have her and her Sega weapon, so it's hard for me to speak on this, but like the off-field energy helps so much. Any weapon, any Wenjin that has off-field energy, it's tremendous value to your account, especially for someone like Rena who's always going to want to reapply Anastella and Drusilla to keep maximum uptime on that pin ratio. But yeah, she has a very good team with Burnice and Yanagi. You just have to constantly reapply dolls. You apply your dolls. We talked about it in the early access, but if you didn't watch that video, you apply the dolls first because apparently it snapshots your anomaly buildup. So you would apply the dolls, swap to Yanagi. I'll have to test it myself to see exactly how it works, but I've been told you apply the dolls, you swap to Yanagi, you build up as much anomaly as possible, and then once the anomaly pops, because in the video that we watched from a certain content creator, they were reapplying the dolls at the end, which was only buffing the end of the anomaly buildup rather than the entire beginning of it, which is going to be a majority of the time the dolls are on field. So it's a little intricate in that way. That coupled with Yanagi having like kind of an advanced play style is one reason why I want to pull for the character, because it makes you think a little bit. Caesar, if we're talking Shiyu, this character is I expect her to be timeless in Shiyu. We did see a little bit of a chink in the armor, especially at M0 with Caesar in the endless game mode. Just watch my live stream, watch Sweetly play, and Sweetly has Sig weapon, right? This is M0 without Sig weapon, but again, we are not talking about that game mode, but your shield will get absolutely shredded in that game mode. So what ends up happening, and here's one thing about this shield that actually is useful. Caesar havers are in non-Caesar havers are in shambles right now. I don't know if it says it. Yes, no single instance of damage can exceed the shield's total value, granting protection from being one-shotted / massive hits. What that means is if you have her shield and you take like 3 hits and then you take a hit for like 20,000, you're still gonna take that hit through the shield, through your health. But if the shield is entirely full, you're not gonna take, Himiko's space shuttle laser beam to the head, and it's not gonna one-hit KO you. It's gonna break the shield first before it does any damage to your actual health. So Caesar has a ton of value in the in-game game mode as well. Other than just Shiyu defense, I just want to speak on game modes outside of Shiyu defense in case anyone's interested in pulling for the character in the future if she does have a rerun. Fantastic character. We talked about M6 Lucy before with the pigs raining from the sky. Hilarious. Lucy's one of the best supports in the game. She's one of my favorite characters in the entire game. She's extremely fun to play, especially at M6. Nicole, fantastic. Staple on these Xion teams. Lycan's still pretty decent. I don't necessarily have my Lycan built, but again, I watched someone do the endless mode today. The days meter was moving. It was moving. It looked like Xingyi a little bit. So definitely a invested Lycan is very, very, very good. He also has a lot of moves where he just has iframes through them, like his combos. He has a ton of iframes, which again, if we're talking about the endless game mode, that provides a lot of value. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Let me know what you guys think of the updated Prydwen tier list. Do you agree? Is there anyone on this list that you think should be moved up, should be moved down? Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.